washed away my sins. You washed away my
You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, theys and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Happy Black History Month as we continue through. I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. All right, so I've got a review for Captain America Brave New World, which is directed by Julius Onah, who you know from directing The Cloverfield Paradox, which, man, what a weird rollout that was. Y'all remember that? How they're like, oh, there's randomly a new Cloverfield movie that came out right after the Super Bowl that year. Very, very weird rollout. But this film, of course, stars Anthony Mackie returning as Captain America, Sam Wilson, the former Falcon, and Harrison Ford taking over for President, taking over as a Thunderbolt Ross for, oh my God, I'm completely William Hurt. There we go. Who unfortunately passed. So okay, you know what? I'll save that for later. So going into this movie, y'all know how I feel about Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is not gospel. I do not give a shit about Rotten Tomatoes. It is a horrible test, litmus test that we go ahead and use for film. Very similar to the Grammys and to the Oscars. Just because a film wins a Grammy or just because a record wins an Oscar, or God damn it, just because a film wins an Oscar and a record wins a Grammy does not make it better, does not make it better than the stuff it beat out. But this is the lowest rated Captain America ranking, rating wise, in the MCU so far. It's at 49%, based on 298 reviews. So with that said, we have to have a conversation here. So Captain America, and I'm actually looking through because I'm let's see, I'm just curious. So Captain America has been one of my favorite characters since I was a kid. I genuinely love this character. I used to attempt to throw a shield with like a trash can lid. I would also use that same trash can lid to pretend to be a Ninja Turtle. But I love this character, and Sam Wilson getting the shield in the comics as a person of color is still one of my favorite moments in a comic. It's probably right there with Black Panther and Storm's wedding. That's probably where I'm at. Like I love Sam Wilson getting the shield. Mature response from Afternoon Tune: if you love him so much, why don't you marry him? Wow, if you know, if you knew your spelling, maybe I would entertain your comment more. Grammarly is free, by the way. But Anthony Mackie's ascent to becoming Captain America is something that really doesn't need to be studied. He debuts in the MCU, of course, in Captain America: The Winter Soldier back in 2014. So 11 years in MCU, and then we get what is on the channel now, by the way, as far as a review, we get Falcon the Winter Soldier, which is, I stand by it, is my favorite thing that the MCU has produced. I think it is a masterclass in writing, the way that they incorporate the Tuskegee Airmen into the actual plot, and the fact that there were other men, most likely primarily people of color, whom were experimented on in terms of getting the super soldier serum, trying to go ahead and perfect it. It's a hell of a arc, and it really does ask the question of what does it mean to be a black man, not just in America, but what does it mean to be a black man and have this responsibility? And I remember when it came out, I remember as I was watching it in real time going, oh man, certain people are really going to fucking hate this. And I actually had a real quick conversation with Malcolm Spellman, who worked on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We were talking a little bit on Blue Sky, and one of the things he was saying, and he unfortunately is 1,000% right, where he said that it's so frustrating seeing all these Trumpers just review bombing this shit. Review bombing Brave New World. And they were doing the same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier too. And this is something I have readily come on the podcast and talked about, how this is why when people say DEI hire or woke and all that dumb bullshit, we need more, and as much shit as we give each other. The Afternoon Tune is an incredibly important podcast because it's a diverse group of guys talking about film. You need more diversity in the review space, not just in terms of like the Hollywood Foreign Press or people who are voting on these awards like Screen Actors Guild and stuff like that. You need more diversity in the review space, because when you don't have that, you have fuckers like this who just review bomb this shit because it's a person of color, it's a woman, it's someone that's trans. Fuck this. Like it's just that from jump, and it has no room to grow on you or to remotely even impress you. You've already gone in with your bullshit mindset to go, I hate this shit. And quite frankly, there's much worse Marvel stuff that's come out. Thor: The Dark World. Actually, let I actually don't know what the Dark World is ranked on. Okay, that's fucking ridiculous. Okay, Thor: The Dark World is a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is way better than Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about, y'all. No. This is not worse than Thor: The Dark World. That is for goddamn ridiculous. So no, see, that's why I tell y'all, Rotten Tomatoes is not gospel. I would like to point out, by the way, that the audience score, the popcorn meter, is 80%. So audiences are digging this movie more than critics are, which again, why you need more diversity in the review space. So jumping into the film proper, we pick up after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Anthony Mackie is fully Sam Wilson is fully immersed in his role as Captain America. I really like too the fact that they are just jumping straight in terms of he's Captain America, he's got the shield, no time for bullshit. Let's just go. We start off the film by opening up on President now, Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford. And what I really love about Harrison Ford is, and I just got into Shrinking, the Apple Plus show, maybe a month ago. I'm about halfway through the first season. I've been, chipping away at it here and there. But for as much shit as Harrison Ford gets for kind of just like not giving a shit and just being grouchy old man, he really is acting in this. Like you can tell he actually does like give a shit. And hearing him in interviews, you can tell that he actually was in, and he was locked in this. And pardon me, I have a headache. I've been having coffee trying to wake up. So, one thing I really like about this too is that one of the things that made Civil War, I thought, so special is that not only is it a Captain America movie, but it's a Black Panther origin. And then it really is like an Avengers 2.5. So there's a lot of plates spinning in that movie, but I think the Russos do an incredible job of balancing all the plates and making it work. While this isn't as good as Civil War, there are a lot of elements in it that I think are very similar that work almost as well. Ross is one of them. The movie is very much not questioning your intelligence either, in terms of the movie kind of knows that that obviously Thaddeus Ross has to oh hey Lizzie Fry 87. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. Yeah, don't worry. There'll be very light spoilers. I'll be dancing around most things here. But there's going to be a lot of people who are going to kind of be surprised by that. He really is locked in, but this is like kind of an Eternal sequel because it does reference something that's pretty important from Eternals, which I told you they would, by the way. They go ahead and reference that from Eternals. It's a pseudo Incredible Hulk sequel as well, because it does take the elements, of course, of Ross and then the villain in the movie as well. But I think for the most part, it does balance things actually pretty well. But the film opens up with Ross talking about how he misses his daughter, Betty Ross, who's played by, of course, Liv Tyler. So fine still. I really like that opening. And then we go ahead, right out the box, someone calls Sam Wilson Cap. So it is very established in this world. He is Captain America. You can complain all you want about wokeness and all that bullshit, but he is Captain America. Fuck off. I love the way that they go ahead and they establish that. And it's a very nice little montage they give you at the beginning of the film to go ahead and start off the film. And then we go ahead and get a 5-month time jump. The one thing I will say that was kind of confusing, but I actually kind of like it because it gives me 70s spy thriller vibes, which is something I love about the Captain America brand overall, is that it is very much, that is something it's locked into, is being more in that spy thriller realm. No MCU opening. No Marvel Studios branded opening. I was shocked by that, to be honest. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. But we go ahead and get our time jump, and Cap is upgraded. That is one thing that is very like prominent throughout this film, is that they do a really great job of showing you how Sam has grown into being Captain America and how his fighting style has evolved. And that's one of the things about to kind of put it in Marvel Rivals terms, Steve Rogers was definitely more of a tank, just kind of like this bruising guy with the super soldier serum who's able to do athletic stuff. Since Sam doesn't have the serum, he is doing things more from a distance. He is more aerial. It's kind of more in wrestling terms, it's kind of like almost like a blend of like lucha libre and parkour while using the shield and using angles. Like he's using the shield a lot in terms of angles and how he's throwing it. And the film goes out of its way to show that, which I actually think enhances his fighting style, which I really like. There is this this kick uppercut combo that he does pretty early on in the film that I really enjoyed. And if you remember in Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam was having some trouble in terms of hand-to-hand. Again, not a super soldier. Here, you can definitely tell he's been in the lab training, getting better, getting stronger, putting himself in different scenarios so he knows how to go ahead and be more capable, which I really like. We go ahead and we do get the reintroduction of Isaiah Bradley, who of course played by Carl Lumbly, how he did not get a Emmy nomination, and quite frankly should have won the Emmy for best guest star in a limited TV series. I will never understand, because he is brilliant in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he's great in here as well. And I really like the way that you can tell him and Sam have kept in contact. They're clearly talking quite a bit. and having that mentor, given what Isaiah went through, I thought was incredibly powerful. But through the film, we know that, or through the trailers, of course, we know that Isaiah Bradley snaps, ends up trying to kill President Ross when he's given this presentation. Just for spoiler's sake, in case you haven't seen that TV spot, I won't say what the meeting is about, but essentially it becomes an arms race for a very important thing. Again, won't spoil it here, but that is what I love in terms of the connection to the Eternals, because She-Hulk even brought up like, hey, there's this big celestial being in the sky. Like, what the hell are we doing with this? That ends up being very important. And again, if you tune into the Afternoon Tune, that is something I actually called breaking down the first trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. I called what that celestial would be and why it was so important. And as per usual, I was right and fucking nailed it. So one of the first conversations that Ross and Wilson have, and this is where we kind of get we know we're heading towards Avengers Doomsday. We know that's our next big event, which that's next year. That's like May next year. So, that's why we're getting quite a few MCU projects this year. But Ross flat out tells Cap that, hey, I want you to rebuild the Avengers, which that's the first time I think we've heard the Avengers reference as a team in a minute. I was like, oh, okay, so we're going here. So that already sets Sam on the path of, okay, you're rebuilding the Avengers. Where do you start? And we'll obviously get there in terms of what my theories will be there. But I love that that's established. The fact that the president is telling Captain America that he needs to reform the Avengers, that means Sam's going to be a leader, at worst co-leader. I'll get into who I think the co-leader could be. But I love that. I love that we are establishing that right out the gate. That made me really happy. But I love too that Sam's not a dummy. The last time that him and Thunderbolt Ross had any sort of interaction, he was locked up in the raft because of the Sokovia at the end of Captain America: Civil War. So Sam does not have a short-term memory. He's very familiar of who Thunderbolt Ross is and what he has done to him, what he's done to his friends. And I really appreciate that the film doesn't really try to fool you in that, because you're going to remember Civil War. I think all of us really remember Civil War and remember the sort of effect that Ross had in breaking the Avengers up. And really, like, let's be real, if the Avengers are united against Thanos and they're not having to, they're not all split off, that damage could have been, they could have really minimized more of that damage if Thunderbolt Ross wasn't such a dick. So, but it's very interesting, the sales pitch that he gives them about, work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward. So the concept of Captain America being a government position, if you've read enough Captain America, even if you haven't read a lot of Captain America, there's a reason why Captain America is very much for the ideals of America and what America should be. Very similar to Superman. Superman is something to aspire to, but it's not what this country is. And Sam Wilson gets that. Being a black man in this country, knowing that the rules will always be different for him. Like he said in his speech in the Falcon the Winter Soldier finale, even now I can feel the looks, the stares. And I know that whenever I pick up this shield, there will always be people that hate me for it. Sam is aware of that. And to have the president, let's be real, trying very much like schmooze with you and kind of smooth that over, like, oh, hey, I would never put you in a situation where I would fuck you over again. I appreciate that Sam is smart enough to realize, like, I need to be on my P's and Q's and realize that it's not a matter of if this guy will fuck me over, but it's more of a matter of when this guy will fuck me over. So I really appreciate that, and him not being gullible in that way. So as I mentioned, Bradley goes ahead and snaps, tries to kill the president. did. And I will say, uh, the way that they go ahead and arrest Isaiah, um, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. God, do I even want to tell y'all this? You know what? Fuck it. So I was coming home one night from a date. This was maybe 7, 8 years ago. I had like a beer or two, but I wasn't like stumbling or anything. I was totally fine, totally sober. But this cop stops me, like maybe 1,000 feet from my apartment. Because where I live, you have to cross this park. So it's like 1 a.m. Cop literally like driving past, like driving across the street, randomly puts on his lights, sees me, stops me, uh, ends up questioning me for like 20 minutes, throws my jacket, because I had like a winter coat on, throws that shit on the ground. That was my dad's coat, by the way, which I was oh so happy about. And basically tells me to get home. And I remember just as I'm watching this going, this is how it is for us, even when we're doing nothing wrong. Like I had my headphones in, I was listening to some Paramore, I was vibing. It's just like, and people wonder why Black people are so angry. Anyways, I love that though. I love that realness that this film brings to Isaiah, and it really does use Isaiah to go ahead and paint a very unpleasant lens in terms of how certain people see America and how the people who are discriminated against see America. And that goes ahead and all ties into the villain, Samuel Stearns, who's played by Tim Blake Nelson, which I can't believe they brought Tim Blake Nelson back. I like that. That's such a trip to me. You know him, of course, from Leaves of Grass, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Watchmen, just name a few. So Tim Blake Nelson, he's my biggest issue, and I'm not saying his performance, because his performance is great in here. I think he's absolutely fantastic, and the way that he is twisting these gears is just like twisting the blade at points with some of the stuff he says to Sam. Like he's able to manipulate his emotions, or attempt to manipulate his emotions in a way that's very unique, because of the mindset that he is coming from. And when you find out why he has such a hate boner for President Ross, it makes a ton of fucking sense. And it's one of those things where, because we know who Thunderbolt Ross is, it makes a ton of sense that he did like what he did and his connection to the leader. I actually really like that. And when they reveal it, you are just like, God damn it, yeah, you would do this. And quite frankly, a government, like a president, would do this, including our president that is masquerading as a king right now, would pull this shit. It's a very, very realistic turn that the movie takes with him. I'm going to get this out of the way just because I've seen a lot of people. Shira Haas, she's in the film. She's playing Ruth Bath Saraf. Her character originally is an Israeli superhero in this movie. It is not addressed. They don't talk about Israel. They don't talk about Palestine. Like it's very similar to how Winston Duke in Black Panther, the Black Panther films, is playing Baku, but he's known as Man-Ape in the comics. Yes, they had a black man called Man-Ape in the comics, people, and Marvel rightfully so went, oh yeah, we can't do that shit. I know people look, free Palestine, obviously, but people blew this way out of proportion. And her origin in here makes total sense for what they've built in the MCU. And I went, yeah, okay, that totally works for me. Yeah, people blew it way out of proportion, and y'all need to go get over yourselves. It's not even as close to as big of a deal as you're making it be. But I like her character because she has some friction with Sam. She's like this, really the head of the Secretary of Defense for the president. She's in his inner circle, so her and Sam are clashing quite a bit. But I really like the way that they play her character, and I'm very intrigued what they could potentially do with her moving forward. Giancarlo Esposito is in here as Sidewinder, who works for the Serpent Society, and I really like the way that him I like the way his story intertwines with Sam without spoiling too much. I really like his arc in here, and it looks like he could be potentially sticking around. So again, I'm really excited to see what they do with his story. And he has a great fight scene with Sam that very much mirrors Nick Fury's car chase in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. There are several things in here that I think are remixed. Like there's a great fight between, as I mentioned, Cap and Sidewinder. Of course, the title fight, very similar in a way to like how BVS was built as, oh yeah, man, you're gonna get this big title fight, Batman vs Superman. And I remember watching it just going, oh, that was the fight. The fight that Sam and Red Hulk have is fucking wild. Like I love that. I love that final fight. I love that final fight. I haven't mentioned him yet, but Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, who is the new Falcon in this movie. If you remember at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier, in the penultimate episode, Sam had his wings torn off by John Walker, a U.S. agent. He went ahead and tore off the wings. He asked Sam, hey, like, do you want your wings back? And he goes, keep them. So Torres went ahead, fixed the suit, made it his own. And it's very, and I mean this as a compliment, it's like a cool Power Ranger costume. Like, I know these costumes are silly, people. I really don't think people have read the comics enough to realize how hard it is to take these comic costumes that look silly as shit and make them, quote, real world, unquote. My only complaint about the first Sam's first costume at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier was that like neck strap that he had. And I actually read an interview with Anthony Mackie, and he flat out said that thing was a piece of, like, the thing was a pain in the ass to wear. And that he was like, the first thing I said is that they need to change the fucking suit. And the suits do look better in here. It is still Wakandan tech, and you see, and they mentioned that, which I think Sam's gonna go to Wakanda. I think that's gonna happen sooner than later. I'm actually very excited to see how they establish that. But I think he's going to end up talking to Shuri. But I really like the new suits. He does get this this navy suit, which is a little more of like a stealth suit, kind of mirroring Steve Rogers' navy suit in Winter Soldier. I love the navy suit. I'll be real, like I love the white suit as well. I hope he kind of gets to have like multiple suits he can, and given the fact Marvel loves to sell toys, I'm sure he will. But he gets multiple. I hope he gets to keep the white suit. But I love the navy suit. Quite a bit. There is a cameo in here. As I go through puberty, apparently my voice cracks. There is a cameo in here from a character that some of y'all will probably expect. They're only in the movie for like a scene, but when this person showed up, I was like, yes, let's go. I was really, really happy. And the conversation that they have just reaffirms that Sam is Captain America. So if you're one of those people who's like, they're going to go back to Steve Rogers, they're not going back to Steve Rogers. It's going to be Sam, whether you like it or not. At the absolute worst case scenario, you'll have two Captain Americas. You'll have your Steve Rogers, you'll have your Sam Wilson. And to be honest, I wouldn't even mind if they pull some multiverse shit and we get like a different, like a younger actor playing Steve Rogers or something, or like a different, like a variant of Steve Rogers. I wouldn't even be mad at that. But I love the way that this film is telling you he's Captain America, get with it or don't. The last couple things I will point out, because again, I don't want to spoil this. I really do want people to go into this as cold, because I think there's some great stuff in here. As I mentioned earlier, some of the angles that Sam is using with the shield, like throwing the shield at, there's a point where he's just kicking the shield. But you think about it, yeah, his suit's made of vibranium, so are the boots. You would be able to do that. he does this. Oh my god, some of the way he's kicking the shield are so fucking cool. There's a point where Sam is literally riding a missile, and I just went, yes. I just went, yes, yes, yes. I saw this with my partner for Valentine's Day, and I was just so happy. I just had a blast watching this. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But at the end of the day, I had so much fucking fun watching this, and this will probably be something that I go see like on a $5 movie Tuesday in like a week or two. One of the quotes from the movie that I think is just so beautiful and so perfect. This movie is written by Rob Edwards, Malcolm Spellman, who I mentioned, and Daylon Muson. You know Rob Edwards from writing Princess and the Frog and Treasure Planet. Malcolm Spellman, of course, worked on Falcon and the Winter Soldier and is a producer on Bel Air. And Daylon Muson, you know, from writing on Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. But one of my favorite, like the quote for me from the film is, "If we can't see the good in each other, we've already lost." And that is just such a powerful fucking line. And it really just encompasses that Sam Wilson gets this. Sam Wilson understands, like Steve Rogers in the way that he's able to give speeches, but was able to give speeches. Sam Wilson is able to use the fact that he was a counselor at the VA, the way that he's able to talk to people and relate to people is something that's so unique to his character and so unique to his Cap. I love Sam Wilson, man. And I'm so happy that he's our Cap, that he's my Cap. But what I'll say, oh yeah, so this movie has kind of the same issue that I have with The Dark Knight, where the Joker, it's a lot of sure. And I mean that in the sense of, for everything that the Joker does in that movie, with like the boats and then being able to get that sniper shot off that shot Gordon and all these things, the amount of luck and happenstance that has to occur for everything to line up perfectly, I don't think people give that movie nearly like the fact that there are going to be people, and I've read this complaint that so many people were like, well, how would the leader know this? How would they know this? I'm sorry, y'all. Give the Joker that rope. You're not going to give it to the fucking leader. Like, come on now. Like, again, I get criticizing shit, but like, goddamn. So, like, be consistent in your arguments or don't be. But, anyways, with that said, I like this slightly more than First Avenger. And let me be clear, I dig First Avenger a lot. Like, that is basically this generation's The Rocketeer. Which, if you've not watched The Rocketeer, watch The Rocketeer. It's a great fucking movie. But I dug this a lot. And actually, the more, like, I was going to review this as soon as I saw it. And the more I thought on it, I was like, let me let this marinate. And I actually went back and rewatched some clips and read some reviews. And I was like, oh, does this bug me? I was like, no. Pardon me. Ooh. Like, did that bug me? No, not really. So, I'm gonna give this an A-. Like, I really enjoyed this. This was I saw this in 3D too, by the way, which I would recommend. I'd recommend checking this out in 3D. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I really enjoyed this. So yeah, an A- for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America: Brave New World. Pardon me. But yeah, I really had a lot of fun with this, and I think this is something that this will be like the pardon me. This is getting the same treatment that the Marvels got, where it's people going like, oh my god, the MCU is dead. And look, and I've talked to my friend Nathan about this quite constantly, honestly, because he hates himself. Not hates himself, he hates Marvel. Like, he just can't admit it. He does, but maybe he hates himself too. I don't know. But anyways, he if you don't like these movies at all, if they just don't scratch that itch for you post Endgame, that's fine. I get that. Like, Endgame is such a cultural milestone. It was such a cultural event and how it ended. I get that. Like, I get if that is your, like, some of my friends who were big in the MCU, they're like, there's just so much shit now. I don't even know how to catch up. That is completely fair. I get that. Like, I mean, you can watch these reviews and get caught up, but like, I get that because there's a lot of Marvel content out there now. I get it. I still haven't even reviewed Agatha All Along, which is a great show, by the way. Spoiler, but I get it. I genuinely get it. But if you don't like them, just don't watch them. Like that's where I'm at. I understand that there are people who need to be be a part of that cultural zeitgeist and just have to be caught up in everything. I get there are people out there like that, but just like you're torturing yourself for no reason. If you don't like this shit, don't watch it. So, but yeah, A- for me for Captain America: Brave New World. I'm so excited to see what the new Avengers team looks like. I stand by the fact that I think we're getting West Coast Avengers. I think that's happening just because the Wakandan embassy is in Oakland, which I think we all forget about. I think Shuri's definitely part of the Avengers team. Like that's definitely happening. Falcon's going to be a part of it. I think we get Black Widow, Yelena. I think she's in there. I hope Brenner's back. I hope we get Hawkeye. I hope we get Kate Bishop. I hope we get Clint Barton back. So I think that's part of the main part. And then I think we get Kamala, because if you remember, Kamala and her family moved to New Orleans after the events of the Marvels. That's where they ended up. Where's Sam Wilson's sister based at? New Orleans. Where's he from in the canon or in the MCU? He's from New Orleans. So I think there's very much a world where he interacts with Kamala Khan and she's asked to join the team. And because of that, I think that's how we get the Captain Marvel connection. Now, if you remember in the comics, Sam Wilson and Brie Larson, or Sam Wilson and Carol Danvers, they do go ahead and have a relationship at a point in the comics. So a Captain Marvel, like I want that because I want the right wing media and Trumpers to just lose their mind. Because if you saw sexy ass Anthony Mackie making out with sexy ass Brie Larson, people's heads would fucking explode like scanners. So Marvel, Feige, please do that. Like hooked up, even if they're only hooked up through the Avengers film, just give me that, because I need to see people. I need to see people get upset. And I will say too, obviously Spider-Man's going to be back. That'll be fun considering Sam and Peter's relationship in the MCU, plus Anthony Mackie and Tom Holland's constant roasting of each other. I'm really excited to see them interact. But yeah, a solid A- for Captain America: Brave New World. I really dug this a lot. So Captain America: Brave New World, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments. You can go ahead and follow the show on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheRealPineapple. Can follow the show on YouTube at The Real Pineapple. Just search that. That's REEL Pineapple. Listen to the podcast pretty much wherever you get them: SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, Samsung Podcasts, to name a few. You can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam, and then you can follow the show on IG and on what's the thing? TikTok. Until I get banned, we'll see. But you can find me on there at J Hunter Real Pineapple. That's J Hunter and then REEL Pineapple. And find me on Blue Sky at realpineapple.bsky.social. Thank you so much for listening, y'all. I'm gonna have reviews coming up next week for Invincible Fight Girl. I'm really excited to review that. I'll have my have the homie Brandon on to talk about that. But yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up for y'all to wrap up Black History Month. I will say the show is probably going to go on a little bit of a hiatus. To be real, y'all, I just need a break, and I just like I'm very much in this like love-hate relationship with the news right now, because I'm trying to stay informed but not doom scroll. And just the more Trump does shit, the more I'm just like, I hate you. So I'm in this very tough spot. But I do think I will have Oscar coverage on the 2nd. I will probably be live to do that. But I think after that, I think stream done for maybe a month or two, and reviews will probably be done for a month or two. I'll probably pre-record some stuff. Actually, that's a lie. So the one thing I will do a stream the week of the 3rd for Daredevil Born Again, because the first 2 episodes of that do premiere. So I will do a stream for those, but then I think streams are going to stop. I'll pre-record or preset some stuff to upload, but I think I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break. So it might be a month, it might be longer, but as far as streams, but I will be taking a little bit of a hiatus, but I will keep y'all updated on that. So, but everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, take care of each other. Do something nice for yourselves. I know the world is a lot right now, but please do something nice for yourselves. Please make sure you're hydrating, going for your walks, playing with your pets, getting pet snuggles, like whatever is going to help keep you safe in this insanity that we're dealing with. We will get through this together, y'all. Like, I know it's a lot, but we will overcome. But please hang in there and take care of yourself. And never forget, as always, to keep it real. Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. And I will talk to y'all next week for the Oscars. Cheers.